If you're new to Sorare, one of the first things that can confuse you is whether or not you should spend your whole budget getting into a limited squad or getting into a rare squad. Now, the price differences between the two is quite drastic. You can get into a basic limited squad for about £200-300. You might not win very much, but you can get in for around about that price. Whereas with a rare team, to be hitting that threshold, you're going to need quite a big chunk of money. Now, what I decided to do, as you can see behind me here, I've got 0.24 ETH roughly, a little bit more than that, but I wanted to go in a little bit under budget so we could see just what teams we could build. And what I did was I built a full limited team with that whole budget. Then I also built a full rare team with that full budget. I kept note of the players that we bought, and then over the course of the last 2 weekends, I've checked their prices, checked their results and points, added in the bonuses they would have got, and I then went and saw where they would have finished in their leagues. So today what I'm going to be doing is taking you through how that went, taking you through what rewards we would have got if I had used them squads, and then at the end of the video what we're going to do is do just our normal wrap up, round up, show you exactly how many players we've bought and sold this past few weeks and everything like that. And then next week I'm going to build a squad of whichever aspect wins here. So if the limiteds do better, we're going to spend all our money on a limited squad next week. If the rares do better, we're going to build a threshold team next week. So hopefully you stick around for that. If you are new to Sorare and don't know what it is, I've got plenty of videos on the channel going through exactly what the whole process is and the whole website is all about. So if you are new, please do be sure to sign up using the link in the description. It does help the channel out massively. And hit the subscribe button while you're down there. But let's get into it. I'll show you the squads we built. So for those of you first of all wondering how we managed to build these squads, I'm going to quickly show you how I went about building them, and then obviously next week you will see a bit more of an in-depth process of how I find my players, what I'm looking for and everything like that. But essentially I used this website called Sorare Data. You're going to come over to the scouts section over here, go for player finder, and then this is basically where you're going to do all your searching. I've realised my webcam just tilted a little bit there, but it should be fine. So what you're going to do here is just basically select the player you want. So you can select the position, select the scarcity of the card down here, the market price, whether or not they're injured or suspended, their age, if they're in the upcoming game weeks, everything along that nature, and then just press search, and it's going to bring you a big list of all the players that are available. Obviously this one's going to take a long time to load because we're looking for pretty much every limited in the platform, and you can see here all the players that are available. You can see their best market price, you can see their 3-day average, you can see everything about it. You can see their ranking over the last 15 games, their last few point scores. Just to put it into context, this is one of the players we actually looked at getting, and you can see he's already on the shortlist over there. You can just easily add that on, add in price alerts. It's such an easy platform to use to be able to look around and see what players are available. So I went through and bought all these players. I didn't actually buy them, I just made a note of buying them. So I'm going to quickly take you through the teams and I'll take you through what the results they got. We won't make this too drawn out. So with the rare team, we have a common Geronimo Rulli in goal. We then have Juan Jesus at centre back with Milan Badelj at centre mid, with Leonardo Pavarotti at striker, and then as our extra player we have Eric Vera from the Mexican leagues, I believe. But all of them in total cost us around £600, or at the time around the 0.244 ETH, which was the budget we went in with this. So it's not too bad at all. We managed to get it in for around that £600-ish. Obviously, because since I've done this, there has been quite a big crash with Ethereum. The budget we're going in with today is more around the £500 mark, if I just have a look. And in fact, it's even under the £500 mark now. But it is roughly £500 that we're going in with. And you'll see towards the end of the video, hopefully, we might have a player sold by this time next week as well. But we'll now move on to our common card selection, or our limited card selection, I should say. In goal, we went with Gunay Guvench. Not a clue how to pronounce his name. Hopefully, if I've got the time to do it, we'll have had some graphics pop up with the players on just to make it a little bit easier. And I'll try and include the prices if I can as well. We then went with Owen Windal in defence, Josh Cullen in midfield, Pedro in the upfront position, and then as our extra card we went for that hot itch, the one I just showed you there on Sorare data. So that in total cost us around 0.244 as well, or in terms of price, again, £599 at the time. Now, to get the prices that I paid for these, because obviously I didn't buy these players, what I would do is I will come over to Sorare data, find the player, and then see what their best market price is, and I would take off 5% at that time, because you can normally negotiate, especially if the player's got discard. So I took off 5% for them players, and then that's how we managed to stay a little bit in budget. So, the results. Well, to start with, none of these teams or players ever played in the midweek fixtures. So over the course of 2 weeks, we did have obviously 4 game weeks, but only 2 of them we actually had people in. So that is key to note. But if we just look at the first week's worth of results, our rare team managed to get us 206 points, and that is without a captain. So our goalkeeper brought us in 19 points, our defender got us 66, our midfielder got us 37, our striker got us 34, and our extra player got us 47. So in total we had 206 points without our captain. So the way I did the captain, because obviously those of you who will be aware, the captain gets a little bit of an extra bonus, around 20%. What I did was I went for whoever had the lowest score of that week, I placed them as our captain, because then that allows us to not really take advantage of just being able to choose the captain after the game week, but it allows us to see what we would have potentially got even if we'd gone for the worst option in our team. So with the captain, that boosts us up to 212 points, I should say, and 212 points, 0.13. Don't know why I'm trying to change it into pounds, but that would have hit the threshold for us that week. The threshold at the point of 0, or at the point of 205 points, I should say, gets you 0.01 ETH. So that was set at the time of I'm not really too sure what was set at, to be honest. But with this, I also decided to check all the card prices every week and see how they changed. So at the end of the first week, the rare cards had actually gone down in price by £9.83. So even with the threshold, we would have only made, if we sold everyone after the first week, we would have made £14.75. So not a huge return there, but at least it was profit at the end of the day, which is more than we can say for how ours has been going. But now if we jump down to the limited cards, we have a total score of 315.66. Now this is obviously a huge increase, and when we add the captain into it, it's 337.04. But the issue you've got here is you're not getting that threshold. So unless you're placing consistently and getting an actual decent reward, then it's not going to look too great with a limited. But in the case of this week, we would have placed, and not only would we have placed, but we would have got a fairly decent reward. Our reward at the time was a card. I can't remember what the card was, but I went through and searched for it, and it was going at that time with a best market price of 0.008 Ethereum. Now, this is where you can see the jump. We had to get a lot more points in the limited division. The limited cards also have a lot more volatility in their prices, but we got ourselves a card. And the card at the end of the day was still worth less than the Ethereum threshold. So take what you will from that. But again, with the prices of the cards, we were actually £34 up that week because of the performances of the limiteds. So after the first week with rare cards, we were £14.75 up. After the first week with limited cards, we were £54.09 up. A lot of a big jump there, to be honest. But then we get into week 2. Now, week 2, we had 2 DMPs, 1 for each squad. So with the rare squad, we managed to get a total of, including the captain, 223 points, I should say. Again, not enough for us to get placed in the All-Star Rare Division, but we were able to hit that threshold yet again, and the price of the team went up considerably that week. Even with a player going down in price, we still managed to get a huge increase of 0.043 ETH on the team, which is an £82 profit at the time. And this is including the value of Ethereum at that time as well. So although Ethereum had dropped at this point, we still would have made a considerable profit. So in fact, at the end of the 2 weeks, if we'd bought all these players and then sold them on, we would have made with the rare team £101.97. Then moving on to the limited card section, at the end of the second week, even including the DMP, we would have got 303 points with the captain. Not enough to get us to place, unfortunately, so that wouldn't have brought in any extra income for the limited card. But again, similarly with the rare cards, we had a huge increase in price for the cards, which was boosted to a value of £98.51, which takes the total profit. In fact, I haven't touched on the total profit yet, so let's get into that. So with the limited cards, we got a profit from rewards of 0.008. With the rare cards, we got a total profit from rewards of 0.02. So quite a big increase there, nearly double the reward from the rare team. In terms of card value, the limited cards went up by 0.051, whereas the rare cards went up by 0.043. So in total, the limited cards brought us in 0.059, or at the time £113 from 2 weeks, whereas the rare cards brought us in 0.063 and £121.22. So for those of you who aren't too good with maths or didn't manage to keep up with that there, that means next week we are going to be building ourselves our very first threshold team. Nearly a year into Sorare, and we're finally going to be building our first threshold team. So hopefully next week you stick around for that. Watch me build the threshold team. Hopefully just with this budget of 0.24, I'll try and keep it down if I can. But you know what it's like with Sorare. We're probably going to go over, might even put some more money in. But we're going to definitely have a go next week. Build some hopefully competitive threshold team. It's going to make the reward videos a bit dull because obviously we don't have rewards to catch up on. But to be honest, when have we ever had rewards to catch up on? So hopefully that'll come in the next few days. Or in fact, it'll come next Wednesday. So now the next thing to show you guys is what we've done over the course of the last few weeks. And we've done quite a lot, to be honest. So if I get the spreadsheet up, you'll be able to see exactly what we've done. And we've sold a lot because these are the only players we've got left now in the club. And in fact, I'll show you that on Sorare. So we'll get limited and rare cards up. And you'll notice there's a few here who are new faces. First of all, we've got this guy. Now, this guy I bought yesterday, I believe, on the auction. The only reason I bought him was because at the time, and he still is, the only listing that's available. His price isn't even that bad either. So if I had to get him up on Sorare data, you can see he's been going for around 173, 173, 175, 183. And at the moment, the best price on the floor is 191, which is us. We got him for 177 on the auction. So we might end up making a little bit of a loss with him. But 22, don't need the money at the moment. Happy to keep hold of him. Only one on the market, only one available at the moment. Why not just leave him, see if we can get some quick profit. Then with some other players we've had, you can see we've got Danilo here. You can see he was part of a player auction or a bundled auction. Now the bundled auction we got, if we come over to the auctions one, you can see we managed to get Luca Pellegrini, Danilo, Kai George, Moise Kean and Matthias de Ligt. Now all of these got sold apart from Danilo, and they all got sold for a profit as well. So if I just get these up, you can see here we have all the players that were part of that deal. Some of them went for a loss and they're still highlighted in green. That is because they went for a profit with Ethereum. So even if a card goes for a loss in terms of price, as you can see down here, but if their Ethereum is a profit, I'm going to count that as a profit because we have made a profit hopefully in the long term with that. So you can see overall with these players, if I highlight that, you can see we made a profit of 0.0128 so far, but that is not including the sale of Danilo, who we're still waiting to be able to get a profit from. You can see I also bought Mitchell Bakker. I bought him just to flip him on and get some quick profit. I anticipated his value to go up because he was looking likely that he was going to get a move to Newcastle, so I did that, flipped him before anything happened, and they still didn't even get the move. So we made a nice little profit with Ethereum there. A tiny profit, but still profit nonetheless. Our two Will Bruins, I bought these two because he didn't have a club, and then it was looking like he was going to get a club. So I bought him for £3 and £2.95 and sold them both for £5.43. So just a couple pound profit there. And obviously, I'm pretty sure we touched on the goalkeeper last time round where I made just a little bit of profit there as well. So the only players we've really got left in the squad, by the way, I should also add that Yamasaki has left us only for a £13 loss, which if you'd have told me about that last year, I would have bit your hand off. We've also lost Castro Montes, who went for quite a bit of profit in the end, considering a few weeks ago he was looking down at around about £15, and I knew his price was going to go up. I tried to buy some more, but we just couldn't get them through the door. So if we just look now at the players we've got left, we've got Joe Gayu, who doesn't have a club. Hopefully he will get a club soon, and then we'll be able to move him on. We've got Tahiki, who's just worthless, so there's no point selling them on yet. We may as well keep hold. Similar story there with Lucas Schufs and Said Bakari. They're just not worth enough to sell, so we're going to keep hold of. Danilo, he's going for 0.142. That's what we bought him for. He's going for, at the moment, if we just have a look at the gallery, 0.14. So we could, if we wanted to, get probably a tiny bit of a loss on him and get that quick £30, but I don't really see the point. He's just come back from injury. He's going to get played soon. Why not just leave him and hope his value goes up when he starts playing? Seems fairly simple to me. So that's what we're going to do with him. And then Pontus, we're just going to wait for someone to match the price that's up on the market. So we are £140 down at the moment, but a huge chunk of that is down to the fact that it's down to the Ethereum crash that happened a few weeks back. That is, if we, for example, take a look at everything we've done and include it all, you can see that in terms of actual Ethereum value, we have a total of 0.3657. We deposited a total of 0.368. So we're actually only down by that much in Ethereum, which in real terms is a loss of £4.62. So we're not looking too bad at the moment. Don't worry, I'm already lost with this spreadsheet. I think we need a new one. I don't fully understand it anymore. But in terms of account value at the moment, we're apparently £140 down. In terms of actual real-time value, we're only £4.62 down. I don't know either, but let's just go with the £4.62. It makes it look a lot easier and a lot nicer. But that is it for this week. We've had quite a lot to get through there. We've got very little players left in the squad. At the moment, I'm not really doing much. We're not putting players in for squads. We're just doing the common card leagues, as you can see there. We're not really winning too many of them either. In fact, I'll show you on the new My Teams tab, and we'll go past to the last week so you can see the results there. We're not doing too much. We're just having a little bit of fun at the moment with the common cards until next week, that is. Because next week you will see me build a full threshold team where hopefully we'll be able to start getting some Ethereum and start getting our balance built back up. At the moment, the reward, if we just go have a look, the Ethereum is valued at £20.53. So, based on real-time value, 1 week's worth of rewards, 1 week's worth of threshold, and we're right back in profit again. But that all depends on the player values and everything like that as well. So hopefully next week, you look forward to watching me build that threshold team. Hopefully you stick around for that. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and I'll see you next week.